shop. Hello to everyone in the YouTube modeling community. Earlier today I did a toss the sprue number 31, and I said I'd be doing separate videos for NNL East. So this is going to be one of those videos, and indeed I went to NNL East and got the shirt to prove it. Such style, such grace. I thought I'd just kind of, for the fun of it, run through a typical NNL East weekend for me, and then we'll discuss more about it. Yeah, it's going to be one of my long-winded videos, sorry. Anyway, so a typical NNL East weekend for me is getting up around 4 o'clock Friday morning, doing the shower and breakfast, hitting the road by 5. I pick up my friend Bill in Toronto around 7. A little further across Toronto, picked up our friend Rob, and that was about 20 after 7. We hit the highway for Kingston, and we picked up our friend Ken in Joyceville, Ontario, and we headed south from there. We stopped in Cortland for a quick bite to eat at Wendy's, which is just like off the highway. That's why we use it. Ken mentioned last year when Bill and I were gone to Salt Lake City that the friend he went with to NNL East, they stopped in Scranton, Pennsylvania at a Hobby Lobby, and coincidentally both he and Bill had printed off 40% off coupons for each one of us. So we each walked in there with a 40% off coupon. We each walked out with something. I ended up, we came around the corner and there was a whole pile of Bandai kits, and I ended up with a Bandai Y-Wing. I've been looking at them up here. I couldn't agree with myself on the price for one of them as much as I like the Y-Wing. But at the price it was down there, plus 40% off, it was a no-brainer. I think it was the thing I was happiest with that I managed to pick up on the whole weekend. We left Scranton and we got to the La Quinta Hotel in New Jersey about 5 o'clock at night. So that's basically 12 hours on the road with just a few short breaks. We went out to, we got registered, we saw people in the lobby, chatted for a bit. We went out to Houlihan's, which is a restaurant next door where a lot of the people staying at the hotel, we all kind of go to a restaurant. It used to be the restaurant that was right in the hotel at the previous hotel, but this one is just a short walk outside to this restaurant. Saw a lot of people, wasn't talking to a lot of people I knew, but I saw a lot of people I knew in there. We had a couple of Ken's friends from Ottawa join us for that meal. That was great. Went back to the hotel and ran into Marcos Nanito Fernando, or from Tortuga Customs. Met him and his family. We stood there, chatted quite a while. It was great to have a chance to really have a good conversation with Marcos there, and he has a couple of cute little kids, and his lovely wife was there too, so that was really neat. I actually had a couple of beers with supper, which I typically don't do, despite some of the kidding around videos I've done over time on this on my channel. I don't drink often, but I did have a couple beer, and I think between that and all the driving, I slept really good that night. So we were up at before 6:30, showered, down to the lobby by 7, had breakfast, and we were in line at the PAL building by 8 o'clock. The new hotel, it's really easy to find your way from there to the PAL building. You don't have to go on any of the wacky New Jersey highways. Sorry, New Jerseyites, but wow, that old hotel, you had to come off Highway 46 and then immediately cross 3 lanes of traffic, and the parking lot was right there. It was always a, are we going to survive this maneuver type of deal. Anyway, yep, we were in line by 8 o'clock. It's always fun being in line. You get to meet other people in line. You know, a lot of laughing and joking, carrying on, discussing what you like and whatnot as you wait. I mean, we just got in line at 8 o'clock and they were already selling admission. And this year they used to stamp your hand, but this year they have those band things, which are nice because you don't have to worry about whether the stamp is faded or not. The bad part is, if you're uncoordinated like I am, I ended up having to get somebody to help me get this stupid band on. Pardon me. Terrible thing for a model builder to have to admit. But anyway, so that was great. That was done early. They had everybody done by, I think they went back to the front door at 10 to 9 or so. So when the front doors open, like within 10 minutes, 500 people or more in that building, probably more than that. They are so well organized in NNL East. And at this point of the video, I want to thank Tom Geiger, who's the president of the club, and the entire Tri-State Model Club. They do a fantastic job of organizing this, having everybody paid for ahead of time. You can't complain that you got there and you can't get in the building for half an hour or something like that, which I've seen it at the odd big show. It's just like clockwork. It's perfect, and I want to thank that whole group for what they do for us. Anyway, after you paid, you got this really cool little red cloth bag with goodies in it. The goodies. Okay, we had a bit of a glitch there because I went and held this up in front of my face the first time I tried. I'll try this again. You get this in the red bag. It's a description of the Tri-State Model Car Club as well as the NNL and whatnot. Inside, you find a the list of vendors and where they are. This hall in the bottom is a gymnasium. This at the top is like a smaller room they use as a bingo hall, and down at the other end there's a little cafe type of thing where you can get food during the day. It lists all the vendors, so as you're staying in there in line, if you want to, there's a vendor you want to get to, you kind of plan your route accordingly. There was one vendor that promised to hold something for me but told me to get there early, so the first thing I did was figure out where they were in here, and then I followed, although I'm never sure where the entrance is, so I had to circle the gym, but I found him right away. It's a great thing. And then on the back it shows the layout of the room where the models are, so you can see where, when you get in there, where you should be placing your models in the different categories. And NNL is just gathering model car builders. There's only about 5 themes, so the only reason these categories are here is so stuff isn't all jumbled up. So you end up with big rigs together, customs together, race cars together, and then the theme things together. But they're not being judged. That's just there to help you, to guide you on where to place your models. So other things you get in the bag, you get this little flyer for next year's show, and that tells you next year it's the summer of '69, so memories from 1969. And the other entry is going places, so any vehicle with place names in it, geographic locations, such as say a Chevrolet Monte Carlo or a Chevy Bel Air, that type of thing. One really cool thing in the bag this year was this little NNL East ruler. On one side it has measurements for 1/24 scale, and on the other side it has measurements for 1/25 scale. So when you're trying to do scratch building or other work or striping or whatever else you need measurements for anything, what a great little thing. There was a card in the bag from Go for Decals and products, and buy any 2 decals or model car detailing parts and get a 10% discount and free shipping. Enter coupon code NNLE 2018, which is great. I hope to use that at some point. There was a flyer for Classic Truck Modeler magazine put out by Lee Hartman. A great magazine. I picked up 2 at Salt Lake City last year, and I picked this. Oh, I didn't pick this up. This was in the bag, but I picked up everything I missed. I think I got everything I missed from him at the show. He was at the show with his wife, lovely well, I met Lee last year. It was lovely to meet his wife, and I was glad to catch up on Classic Truck Modeler magazine. I suggest if you're into truck models to check it out. They're on Facebook, and I do believe they have their own website, which would probably, if I looked here, would tell me, yeah, www.classictruckmodelermag.com. So go check them out. And this, I think, was in the bag, or I don't know, I might have picked it up. I might have picked it up on the information table where I got the flyers that I showed in the Toss a Sprue number 31, but it's about the traditional custom car magazine, Customs Illustrated. And the other thing that was in the bag was the People's Choice ballot. So they're for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 categories. It was People Choice. Now you see, I still have mine. The day goes so quick. I can't be. I'd rather be looking at the models, and I don't. I never get around to voting. Um, but it was there. The other thing that you could get in your bag was wooden nickel. Now, you normally don't want to take wooden nickels if those of you old enough that remember that phrase. But in NNL East, if you find a wooden nickel in your bag, it's good for $5 off at any vendor in the venue. Some people use them. I know the first year I did, and I believe, if I recall correctly, I spent my $5 with Chris Morgan, Morgan Automotive Detailing. But some people keep them as souvenirs, but if you want, you can use it for the $5 off. So during the course of the day, let me just get this out of the way. I already mentioned that I saw Marcus at the hotel and had a great chat with him. Okay, sorry about that. Another little glitch here with the camera. Anyway, during the course of the actual event, the actual NNL East, I got to meet Dirk Pitt. It was great to meet Dirk. I've followed his channel for a number of years now since being on YouTube. We had a brief little chat, and then we went on our way. I had hoped we might run into each other again later in the day, but that's such a big venue. There's so many people around. Uh, you're lucky to find people. Even trying to keep track of the guys in my group, to share the keys to the car around so you could lose layers of clothing or put purchases in the car. Even that was a challenge. So I didn't get to talk to Dirk again later in the day. But it was, like I say, it was great to meet you, Dirk, and I hope we get to meet again next year. I got to see his Partridge Family bus and the heavy metal Corvette, which was really cool. Nice work. I also got to meet George Ramos. Been following Vision 124 for a while now. Great work. I saw the Buick that's on his card as well as some of his other models. We got to talk for a nice little while. And if you watch Toss the Sprue number 31, I tried to promote the Diversified Scalers show coming up September 29th. I wish I was closer so I could participate in that, but unfortunately I can't. But anyway, it was great talking to you, George, and I hope we meet again next year. The other person from the YouTube modeling community that I met was Craig, the modeler. We talked for a good little while, early afternoon, and then later in the day before they did the awards, we got to hang out together for a while. After that, I got to see the Rubber Duck semi truck in person. That was great. A nice little piece of work, as well as 1/32 scale white Mustang there that he did for the 24-hour build during Le Mans. I think that's what it was. I could stand corrected, but anyway, it was great, Craig. Spending time with you and chatting, and he was mentioning the great venue for the Philadelphia NNL at the Simeon Car Museum, Automobile Museum. That sounds like a great place. I actually saw a recent episode of My Classic Car with Dennis Gage that took place at that museum. It would be really cool to have a model car NNL there, so maybe someday we might make it to that. I'd also like to mention a couple of gentlemen that I don't believe are on YouTube, but they came up to me and they said they watched the channel, and I really appreciate that. One was Tom Dubkowski. He had a nice little Model A pickup, sort of a weathered 29 Model A pickup there, as well as a really cool 29 Model A Roadster. Uh, Both nicely done. Steve Reinhardt, he came up to me as well and said he watched the show and enjoyed it, and I really appreciate that. He had some nice builds of American muscle type vehicles, real clean builder, and then he showed me, told me about one of the truck models there where the guy used uh, chrome chain as bezels and type of crystal for the tail lights. So he brought me over to show me what he was talking about, and that was really cool. So Tom and Steve, I appreciated having a chance to talk to you guys and hang out with you a little bit. Thank you for coming up to me and telling me you watch the channel. I really appreciate that. And if anybody that does watch and you see me at a show, please say hello, because I appreciate you watch us and you get some value from what I do here. So by 3:30, the awards presentation was happening. Um, Ironically, they asked about if somebody could pick up a model for Dave Walker, who lives here in Ontario, about an hour and a half away from me. I eventually went up to them and said I would take it, and they asked me, "Can you come back after the awards presentation? We'll give it to you and make arrangements or whatever." Well, by the time we got to that point, I'd been on my feet for 8 hours. I had not sat down since we got in line at 8 o'clock. So I'm afraid by the time the awards presentations were over, the brain had forgotten all about picking up the model for Dave Walker, and I just, okay, guys, let's go. I got to go sit down, and headed for the car, and I totally forgot. So I feel really bad about that, but I guess it's one of those things. I have to message those guys and apologize for that. I keep forgetting this is already Wednesday. Anyway, went to the hotel, relaxed a bit, went out to Longhorn for supper like we do every year. Had a great supper with, there ended up being 6 of us from our club. 2 of the other guys had come down separately. We had a great meal. We're up early the next morning. Went up to a place called Empire Diner in Parsippany that we've been going to for all the years that we've been going to the NNL East. It's just become a tradition. It's a cool old diner. Everything's in stainless steel, and it's the real 50s, 60s vibe, and I think we like it. That's why we like it. Anyway, we hit the road again, and we actually made another stop in Scranton on the way home. Ken knew of a flea market that they checked into the year before. He said there was a vendor there with models, believe it or not. And it was a good chance for a break during the drive, so we stopped there. We wandered around this flea market, and we did find the guy that he combines rocks, minerals and whatnot, and then he has a wall of models. And believe it or not, despite buying stuff at Hobby Lobby, which we actually did twice, we did in Scranton, and then after the show in New Jersey, we'd swung around to a Hobby Lobby nearby and stopped in there. I didn't buy anything at that one, but the other 3 did. Anyway, we each found a model at this flea market, and so there was another model being shoved for each of us into the car. On the way home, we stopped in Watertown because at that point we needed gas for the car. We needed food for us because breakfast had been like 6 or 7 hours earlier. We had to, Ken had to run over to the grocery store for something. And oh yeah, we checked out Ollie's in case they had models. As you guys that live down there may know, I don't think they've had a shipment of models in a while. But we found the odd Lindbergh old thing and whatnot. We all managed to walk out of there without spending any money. Probably a good thing. So Ken picked up his Easy Barley at the grocery store there, and I'm not going to explain that further. He also stopped. We stopped at the duty-free store for him to pick something up for his dad. We got through customs all right, and then drop people off in reverse order from the trip down, and I got home about 10:30 Sunday night, and I slept pretty good again Sunday night. I didn't need beer that time. So that's a typical NNL East weekend for us. I just thought, I know this is long, I apologize, but I thought it'd kind of show what goes into a sort of a model car builder's weekend away. I'll do a separate video for the stuff that I got at New Jersey, and then there will be separate videos for the pictures that I did manage to take. As I mentioned in Toss the Sprue number 31, I didn't get as many pictures as I normally do. Believe it or not, over 300 and some odd, but still it's like there are whole sections I missed for some reason. I basically didn't see the big rig heavy commercial section just briefly, and there might be a handful of pics from that, but not too much, not as much as I'd normally like to take, but it'll still keep you entertained for a while. And so that's that. Look out for more videos coming in the next 2 or 3 days, and we'll end it here. So thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, thank you very much. Like, subscribe, dislike if you know that's fine too. I don't mind. And we'll see you soon. Okay, thanks guys. Talk to you later.